Chapter 17. The Shadow. Fuck. She's so pretty when she thinks no one is watching. My little mouse trudges into her bedroom, her tattered slippers dragging against the smooth stone floors. She's tired. Dark circles are beginning to form underneath her eyes. I want to smooth them away, just to bring them back again. But I want her to be tired from staying up all night, taking my cock into her body until she's depleted of all her strength. Even then, I'll still fuck her. I deprived myself last time, refused to touch her with my own hands, when she hadn't earned that from me yet. But watching that gun slide in and out of her pussy was just as torturous for me. I barely made it to my car before I was coming in my hand, the sweet melody of her smoky cries echoing in my head. That woman's voice alone can bring any man to their knees, and now she's wearing nothing but a long white t-shirt, the soft cotton ending mid-thigh. Her rosy nipples poke through the thin material and my mouth waters with the need to take one into my mouth and suck on it until she's wriggling beneath me. I lick my lips. Soon. Her tantalizing, creamy skin is on full display, and I get hints of her red cotton panties anytime she bends over, like when she pulls the covers back and pounds her tiny fist into the pillow to fluff it up. I get a full view of her ass when she slides her feet out of her slippers and then bends down to arrange them neatly before her nightstand. My cock hardens, her perfectly round ass overflowing her underwear. Her pussy is on full display, just a thin piece of fabric separating her from my tongue. I close my eyes and work to regain control. I have to be quiet. She doesn't know I'm hiding in her closet, waiting for her to fall asleep so I can stare at her beauty in peace. Right now, she fears me. Rightfully so. I'm a dangerous man, and I kill people daily. Not only that, but I enjoy it too. She should fear me, but only because once she ultimately submits to me, she'll have no chance of escaping me. She's already started to and hasn't even realized it yet. I've never been in love with anything other than my job. I haven't even bothered fucking a woman for over a year. I just don't have time. They were always a quick fuck, and then I'd be off again, the release rarely easing any tension. After dealing with enough tears and desperate attempts to get me to stay with them, I grew tired of the hassle. The moment I saw her sitting in that bookstore, working to hide her nerves and anxiety, there I was, a grown-ass man falling in obsession at first sight. And now I feel like a 15-year-old boy who just discovered what pussy feels like. Every time I set eyes on her, I'm ready to bust in my jeans just from looking at her. I want to touch her, kiss her, and make her mine in every sense of the word. Marking her body wasn't enough, but I get the feeling I will never feel like I've had enough of Adeline Serafina Riley, at least on paper. And I have no fucking shame. I never claimed to be a good man. She slides into her bed, curls up under the duvet, and picks up an old leather book, her great-grandmother's diary. After Addie had left one day to run errands or some shit, I flipped through the pages. Her great-grandmother also had a stalker. It made me smile when I realized history was repeating itself. Addie flips through the diary for an hour, her face pinched with an unreadable emotion as she inhales Gigi's deepest, darkest secrets. It looks like she's searching for answers, and the only thing that will give her clarity is her great-grandmother's words. Part of her looks disturbed by the diaries, but a bigger part of her seems fascinated, enthralled, like she's trying to picture falling in love with her stalker, and the thought both excites her and makes her deeply uncomfortable. I want to laugh at that, because that's exactly what's going to fucking happen. I'm going to make her fall in love with every single fucked up part of me. I want this girl to see me at my most depraved. I want her to experience the true darkness residing in my soul. When you make someone fall in love with the darkest parts of you, there's nothing you can do that will scare them away. They will be yours forever because they already love all the fucked up bits and pieces of you. Her eyes start to droop. Her head lolls and the diary begins to slip from her black painted fingers. She jolts awake, her eyes rounding before she settles down. I bite my lip. Too many feelings invading my chest. Giving up pretenses, she snaps the journal shut, slides it on her nightstand, and clicks off the light. Instantly the room goes black. The moonlight, filtering through the balcony doors, casts shadows across the room, creating monsters out of wooden furniture. The only real monster in this house is me. Once her breathing deepens, I slowly slide the closet door open and wait in the shadows, making sure she hasn't awoken. Just as I go to take a step, a burst of ice blooms across the back of my neck. Goosebumps rise on my skin as I turn my head and look around in the closet, fighting against the urge to chatter my teeth. It's an unnatural cold, and it's not the first time I've felt it. But whatever is breathing down my neck isn't going to deter me. I feel its eyes on me, and I hope I meet its stare so it can see I'm not the least bit afraid. Seeing nothing, I turn and step out into the room. The chill recedes as I make my way over to her bed. I'm tempted to brush her hair away from her face, but I know it'll wake her. She senses danger easily, and I know she's going to catch me soon. A large part of me wants her to. There's a depravity in my mind that enjoys seeing her scared. I want to see her scream because I know every time she gets scared, my little mouse gets turned on too. It makes the blood rush straight to my cock, and I want more than anything to show her exactly how hard I can make her scream. But the softer part of me wants to watch her sleep in peace, especially because I know I'll bring her so little of it when she's awake. Slipping the rose out of my pocket, I lay it on her nightstand. She'll freak out in the morning, and I'll make sure to play the video back so I can see it and find joy in her terror. She stirs, and a loud noise disturbs the air, something between a snore and snorting like a pig. I bring my fist to my mouth, biting down hard to keep the laughter from exploding out of me. Immediately I turn and exit the room, struggling immensely in keeping quiet. I don't think I've ever heard a noise like that come out of anybody, let alone someone that looks as cute as Addie does. I've tortured and killed a lot of people, and that was unlike anything I've ever heard. It's only when I'm out of the house that I let loose a bark of laughter, but my laughter is cut short when my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out, seeing Jay's name flash across the screen. "Yeah," I answer, my steps quickening as I make my way to my car. Jay only calls me for work purposes, and usually that results in shooting 1 or 12 people dead. "Mark Seinberg is in town," he starts, diving right in. It's what I like best about Jay. He gets straight to the point. Along with his colleagues Miller Foreman, Jack Baird, and Robert Fisher. I open my car door and sink into the leather seat. I turn on my car but don't make a move to leave yet. "Where are they?" I ask. "I've gotten hits in casinos, a couple of high-scale bars, and a private gentleman's club. Members only. All places that are heavily guarded." "Guards mean they have something to hide," I say. "They're of no concern to me." It's not cockiness, it's just facts. My confidence in my skills is the only thing that keeps me alive. You can't go into a lion's den with the confidence of a gazelle. You go in knowing that you're going to walk back out with their blood on your hands and their heads rolling on the ground. It's the only way you'll ever survive. "They're not," Jay acquiesces. "It's too soon to storm their hangouts, though. I got you access to a couple of the gentlemen's clubs they attend. I think they're going to be our best bet for information. Just go there, scope them out, start making more appearances there and gain their trust. See if there's anything amiss." The laughter from Addie is long gone. It almost feels like I never felt such a happy emotion only minutes ago. Dickheads trafficking innocent children will do that to you. "Fuck, Jay, you want me to mingle with a bunch of rapists? I can hack into their cameras. Hacking into cameras only gets you so far." I sigh, rubbing at the tightening muscle in my shoulder. He's right. Their cameras won't have audio, and there's a lot more to learn when listening in on conversations. And right now, we have nothing, Jay continues, driving home his point. I nod, though he can't see me. Making friends with the pedos means I could be invited into the ritual. Based on the video, it's definitely deep underground. Gaining access will be incredibly difficult, but nothing is ever impossible for me. Not only that, but it'll put more people on my radar to take down. It's a fucking network of pedophiles, and once you meet one, you meet 100 more. It's fucking exhausting, the never-ending list of people to kill. But I'm a very patient man. I know, I agree. I'll make the necessary connections. I will find this place, and once I do, I will kill every single motherfucker associated with that hellhole. By the time I'm done, the entire government will be dismantled.
Chapter 18. The Manipulator.
Unknown. You're so pretty when you sleep.
My heart drops when I read the text. I already knew the fucker was in my house from the rose on my nightstand, but his lack of shame enrages me. I feel the blood rush to my cheeks as fury and embarrassment rise inside of me. I was knocked out cold last night, and I hate that while I was peacefully sleeping, a man was standing over me, watching and just being an all-around freak of nature. The thought sends cold shivers down my spine. After Max crashed our dinner, Daya and I felt considerably on edge, the mood soured and rotted. We combated that feeling by bar hopping. We picked a random drink off the menu for each other, and by the end of the night, we were both pretty toasted. I tried to avoid thinking about Max the entire night, but his threats plagued me anyway, lingering at the back of my mind, there to remind me when I had a moment to think. And it hasn't gotten any better. I spend this whole day trying to write, but I barely managed over 1,000 words. I've long since given up and have retreated to my room to watch mindless TV. Me. You'll look pretty after I stab you. I don't even know why I reply to him. I should stop and report this to the police. They'll think I'm antagonizing him. Jesus, I am antagonizing him. But after Max's threat, I don't need any more reason to make him suspicious by reporting a stalker. And for the ones I already made after Arch's disappearance, I hope those went missing too. Never thought I'd wish for my only evidence against my shadow to disappear, but the threat of Max oddly frightens me more. Maybe I'm kidding myself with a false sense of security with the former. He's scared the absolute fuck out of me, but he hasn't seemed inclined to physically hurt me. In fact, he's done the exact opposite, and that knowledge makes me sick. Max, on the other hand, I know would hurt me.
Unknown. A gun wasn't enough for you? Interesting.
I drop the phone on my bed, and then my head into my hands. But then my head snaps up when I remind myself that the fucker was watching me sleep last night, which means he got in my house again. All the blood in my cheeks drains like a whirlpool when I realize he could have been in my house before I even went to bed. That's what he did last time, and I was pretty out of it last night. I know I read Gigi's diary for a little while, but I don't think I retained a single word I read. My gaze draws to my closet doors like a magnet on a refrigerator. It's a large closet with 2 doors that slide apart, my eyes thin, narrowing on the tiny crack between the 2. My body moves on autopilot. I'm scrambling out of my bed and storming to the closet door before I can think it through. I have no idea what I'd do if he's standing there. Probably shit myself. I tear the doors open and stop short when I'm met with nothing but way too many clothes that I don't wear. There's nowhere for him to hide in here. It's not a deep closet and certainly not big enough to hide a 6-foot, too many inches man. My hands tear through my clothes anyways, searching for him. And even when I'm positive he's not there, I stare harder, swiping my clothes aside with heightening aggression. Get a fucking grip, Addie. It's like you want him to be there. I sigh and turn away, the adrenaline rush diminishing. There's nowhere else in this room for him to hide. As immense as the room is, it's an open concept with minimal furniture. Now I just feel like an idiot. I plop on the bed, crisscrossing my legs as I stare at my phone, like it's a mousetrap with a big-ass block of cheese in it. Gourmet smoked Gouda fucking cheese, to be precise. The phone lights up with an incoming text, the vibrations in the bed traveling straight up my legs. I snatch it up. I fucking love Gouda cheese, goddammit.
Unknown. I'll be seeing you tonight, little mouse.
I snarl. Me. From outside my house and preferably in a cop's handcuffs.
Unknown. You don't need a cop to get me in handcuffs, baby. I'll let you do anything you want to me.
I'm going to suffer from a heart attack with the severe directions my blood keeps rushing to. My pussy pulses from the illicit thought of him handcuffed to my bed, a smirk on his face, dripping with sin. And those goddamn mismatched eyes looking up at me the way he did when he was fucking me with his gun. Like I'm a little mouse that he wants to devour, stuck in the trap with the Gouda cheese puffing up my cheeks. Fuck. My hands shake as I try to force the thought from my head, but it's taken hold and I can't get it out. I straighten my legs, squeezing my thighs together, but it doesn't ease the steady throb between my clenched thighs, nor the wetness pooling between them. My heart races as another ping vibrates my phone. I don't want to look, but I have no fucking self-control.
Unknown. Are you playing with yourself, little mouse? Touching your sweet little pussy to the thought of me handcuffed to your bed?
Me. You're disgusting. But that's exactly what I've begun to do. As soon as I read the words, it was like he possessed my body to do exactly what he was asking. My hand snaked down into my panties, my finger gently swiping at my engorged clit, even as I wrote back my scathing reply. I'm wearing nothing but a long t-shirt and comfortable underwear. I feel bare and exposed beneath the thin cotton. When my legs begin to fall apart, I rip my hand out like I touched a burning stove, hissing at my own stupidity.
Unknown. And you're a liar.
Me. Fuck off.
Unknown. Next time you tell me to fuck off, your clit is going between my teeth.
My bottom lip goes between mine. I suck my lip in sharply, shocked by his nerve, by the pure audacity this man possesses, yet just as turned on. I squeeze my hand around the phone, hating myself more and more as this conversation progresses. My fingers twitch with the need to tell him to fuck off again. The asshole probably doesn't even know how oppositional I am. Tell me not to do something, and I'll only want to do it more. And with a threat like that, I'm so fucking tempted. I feel my heart tumble in my chest again, beating against my ribcage as my thumb travels over the letters. I stare at the 2 words on my screen, my thumb hovering over the send button. My shadow has proven to follow through with his threats, so why do I want to do it so badly? I mean, who instigates their fucking stalker? And to put his mouth on their pussy, no less. I throw my phone as soon as my thumb skates across the button. The message swoops away, and I know I just did something idiotic. Fuck. My head is in my hands again, my fingers clenching my hair tightly until I feel the strands pulling taut. Tiny stabs of pain following suit. Ping! The racing muscle inside my ribcage bursts free and climbs up my throat. I can't look. Abruptly, I stand, restless energy coating my nerves until I'm nearly convulsing. I need to do something, distract myself. Snatching my phone, I hurry down the hall, down the creaky wooden stairs, and into my kitchen. It's dark in here. Eerie, but my stubbornness prevents me from turning any lights on. Ping. Shakily, I pour 2 fingers of my grandfather's whiskey into a glass, and then I hold up the decanter, noting how little is left. Asshole. I shoot the alcohol down in one swallow. The taste is smoky with a hint of citrus. It burns on the way down, turning the insides of my body into an inferno. As if I wasn't already burning up. After I pour myself another 2 fingers and swallow that down, I work up the courage to look at my phone.
Unknown. Oh, little mouse. Unknown. I can't wait to eat you. There will be nothing left of you once I'm done.
God damn it. Shivers rack through my body and I drop the phone. It clatters loudly against the island, disturbing the stilted air. God? Why do you fucking hate me? I ask aloud, my voice ringing out into empty air. Of course, she doesn't answer me. She never does. I'm not even talking to God. I'm talking to myself and the ghosts inside this house. Not even they will answer me. Fuck it. I'm going to bed. I storm up the stairs, turn off the TV, and slip back into my bed, connecting my phone to the charger and then toss the blanket over my head. Under here, the monsters can't get me. I'm safe, untouchable. I ignore the throbbing between my legs and close my eyes, willing myself to sleep. And despite the sporadic thoughts floating around in my head, I manage to drift off into a restless sleep. I toss and turn, the blanket keeping my body too warm. But my subconscious won't allow the blanket to go past my eyes. Sometime in the middle of the night, I feel rough flesh skate across my arms. My subconscious slowly starts to drift away from my dreams, but it feels like I'm weighed under a heavy fog. Something rough glides around one wrist, jolting me further into consciousness. When I feel the rough texture tighten around my other wrist, I finally start to slip back into reality. My surroundings rush in, and even in my half-asleep state, I know something is wrong. My face feels tight, and my body is exposed. I feel the blanket drift past my breasts, down my stomach, and past my hips. When the cool air settles, tightening my nipples into sharp buds, I jerk awake. My eyes open wide, and my breath lodges in my throat when I see a dark figure settled between my legs. Immediately, I panic, my heart races, and my adrenaline surges. I go to scream, but something constricts my mouth. My eyes round when I realize my mouth is taped shut. Several realizations hit all at once. My arms are above me, tied to the headboard with thick ropes. I tug against the binds, desperately trying to slide my wrists out of the loops to no avail. I struggle hard, but my body can only move so much. Thick thighs trap me into a firm hold as my stalker props himself above me, his face concealed by the shadows. I continue to fight against the rope, but only succeed in rubbing my skin raw.
What did I tell you, little mouse?
He asks, his deep voice barely above a whisper. I don't even spare him a glance, my panicked gaze glued to the ropes that are rendering me completely fucking helpless. Fuck what he told me. Let me go! I shout beneath the tape, but the words are muffled and indistinguishable. He plants his hands on my hips and roughly pins me to the bed. Electric shocks travel from his skin to mine, the feeling making me tremble beneath his calloused hands. Panic sends my mind into a complete tailspin. I no longer think rationally. My body goes into survival mode, and I fight against his hold with all the strength I can muster. But it's useless. He's too big, too heavy, too fucking imposing. I scream with frustration, attempting to buck him off. He laughs at my attempt, the rich sound of his amusement sending ice down my spine. I still, huffing and puffing against the tape. My hair is in disarray, with several tendrils scattered across my face and constricting my view of him. Not that I particularly want to see his face anyways. It's a goddamn weapon. Gently, he brushes the tendrils out of my face, tenderness in his touch.
Fascinating that you have yet to learn. I always follow through with my threats.
He whispers. Fuck off! I shout, enunciating my words as clearly as possible beneath the tape. They're muffled, but he heard what I said, loud and clear anyway. He grabs my face in his hand roughly and brings his face down into mine. Minty breath and a hint of smoke washes over me.
Keep pissing me off, Adeline. I do enjoy hurting you. It's music to my ears when I hear you cry.
I struggle against him, muffled curse words spilling from my taped mouth. Another chuckle reaches my ears.
You've been a very bad girl, little mouse.
He drawls, his deep tenor vibrating through his throat.
And I do enjoy showing you what happens to bad girls.
Sweat pricks at my hairline and trails down my back. I'm still panicking, absolutely shaking with fear. But I have no idea how the hell I'm going to get away from him. Tears prick at my eyes when I realize that I can't. His words from before filter through the panic. You can't escape me. His calloused fingers lift up my t-shirt, exposing my black lace panties and flat stomach. I can't see them, but I feel his eyes devouring me. He continues to lift the shirt until my breasts are bared to him. I hear a sharp intake of breath, revealing his desire. My nipples are tightened into hard peaks, but the asshole is cracked if he thinks it's because of him.
You are absolutely exquisite.
He breathes, his hands trailing across my stomach reverently, over the fading marks he forced on me 4 nights ago. Fuck off, I growl again.
Don't mind if I do.
He tells me, his voice shadowed with desire and anticipation. My eyes round when his fingers skim beneath the waistband of my underwear, teasing my sensitive skin and warning me of his intentions. I suppress the shiver, determined to maintain my dignity even as he pulls them down to my knees in one move. My fight renews, kicking at him harshly and landing a good kick in his chest. He powers through the kick, pushing back into it and sending painful shockwaves up my leg. It stuns me long enough for him to slip my underwear the rest of the way down my legs. Instead of discarding my underwear, he bundles them in a ball and slides them in his pocket. Oh, that's gross. I growl, deep in my chest, and desperately kick at him again. I use both legs, putting every bit of force behind them. He snatches both of my feet before they can connect with his face. Damn it. I squirm, upending the upper half of my body as I struggle. Quickly, he works his hands around both ankles while avoiding a foot to the face, and then he forces my legs apart, pinning my knees to the bed as he bears my pussy. What felt like forever only took 15 seconds. I force myself to still, my chest heaving wildly. If I continue to buck, I'll only be putting my pussy right in his stupid face, and the asshole would just love that. Rage, unlike anything I've ever felt, floods me, replacing the fear and helplessness. I scream beneath the tape, raging and cursing him as his eyes eat up the expanse of my center. The moonlight doesn't provide enough light for him to see much, but it doesn't matter to him. He's seen it before. He inhales deeply.
Fuck. You smell just like I remember. So fucking sweet.
He leans down and places a gentle kiss on my pelvic bone. I arch my back, pushing my body deeper into the mattress and away from his kiss. I'm panting harshly through my nose, imitating a pissed-off bull. Self-hatred wars against the hatred for him. I did this to myself. I know I did. I instigated him, pushed against him when he warned me what would happen. It didn't matter. I was too fucking stupid and hard-headed, too high off whatever sick thrill I can't seem to get enough of. He grips my hips and roughly yanks me down, tightening the bonds on my wrists and giving him full access to my pussy. Another soft kiss, an inch above my clit. I can't stop the whimper that releases from my mouth, sticking against the tape, just as my lips are. But the tape doesn't mask the sound like it's masking my words. I feel him pause, and then he smiles against my skin. I shudder beneath his touch, his hot breath fanning across my most sensitive area. My knees jerk inward, another useless attempt to close my legs. And then I feel them. A stubborn tear slips free as his teeth scrape against my mound. I scream and thrash against the feeling, dislodging his teeth from my skin only for my body to jerk right back into his mouth. I gasp, feeling far more than just teeth this time. His tongue slides against my clit, a feral groan releasing from his throat as he tastes me. Uncontrollably, my eyes roll and my head kicks back as the most delicious feeling envelops me. But I refuse to let that cloud my judgment. Riding alongside pleasure is disgust. Disgust at myself, my body, for feeling anything else. And disgust that he is taking something that I didn't willingly give.
Fuck.
He growls against me, the vibrations forcing me to suck in a deep breath. The sound of his deep tenor sends a burst of butterflies into my stomach.
You're so fucking creamy.
He rasps. I squeeze my eyes shut, hating how I feel my pussy throb from his words and the attention he's giving me. More so, I hate that he's right. I can smell my own arousal, feel the juices sliding down my ass cheeks. I shake. I shake because I don't know what else to fucking do right now. Now more than ever, I hate myself and the reaction my body has to adrenaline and terror. He licks the entirety of my slit, his tongue moving leisurely all the way up to the bundle of nerves before he sucks my clit between his teeth and clamps down, just like he said he would. I scream with both fright and bliss. His bite is hard enough to send a wave of pain scattering across my clit, but not hard enough to truly hurt me. He pulls his head away slowly, my clit dragging between his teeth until it slips free, a burning sensation radiating from the bud. I try to wriggle away, but all it does is cause him to slide his hands behind my knees and forcefully push them back to my ears. I squeeze my eyes shut again, another traitorous tear slipping free as I thrash against my bonds, desperate to slip free. In this position, I'm far more exposed and vulnerable to him. But just as it always does, the thrill of danger sends an uncomfortable feeling straight to my core. He has my body curled so far inward, my ass is no longer on the bed. As if I wasn't already ashamed enough, I feel my arousal sliding down my stomach. He growls, noting the desire flooding from my entrance. I can feel his body tightening with need, power rippling through his body. He doesn't waste any more time bringing his mouth back to my pussy and sucking my clit back into his mouth. I jerk, the pleasure renewed as he tugs and sucks at the bud. He doesn't lick me again, refusing to use his tongue against me. Only his teeth. Every time I move, he clamps harder, so I force myself to stiffen, but the pressure doesn't lessen. If anything, it only heightens until sharp pain is sluicing from my clit. I squeal from the sting, screaming muffled curses at him through the tape. And just when it becomes too much, he lets go. I pant through the relief and the lingering pain, my clit throbbing and sore. But he doesn't allow me to suffer for long. His middle finger slides inside of me, curling to hit that sweet spot. My hips buck against his hand, a different type of pleasure swelling inside of me. A bliss that stings and burns, but yet feels fucking incredible.
Did that hurt?
He asks softly, tilting his head as he watches his finger slide in and out of me, juices collecting in the palm of his hand. Now that one of my legs is free, I'm tempted to drive my foot into his face. But the reminder of that bite keeps my leg still. So I just fume, silently, glaring holes into him. The anger feels like it's burning me from the inside out. He hums, disappointed by my silence. Leaning down, he captures the abused nub between his teeth, sucking in but keeping his bite minimal. Combined with his finger curling up to hit that spot, I can no longer breathe. Gently, he scrapes his teeth over the sensitive flesh. Over and over until it drives me mad with both the need for more and the need to kill him. Maybe I can cut his hands off like he did Arch. Knock his teeth out so he can't turn my body against me anymore.
Remember this, little mouse.
He murmurs in between nips.
Remember that your disobedience brings you pain.
Another sharp nip. My hips jerk away, but the action is futile.
I know you remember how good it felt when my gun was fucking your pussy. Imagine my tongue inside of you, my cock. The pleasure you'd feel would be blinding.
His finger curls and proves his words true, sending that blinding pleasure racing throughout my body. I feel the break. The moment when my body decides it needs what he's giving me more than the need for him to stop. I fight against the dark part of me that wants to beg for more, a dark part that has found a voice and is trying to break free. Take over and give in to this man so we both can find relief. I thrash against it, entering a silent battlefield and trying to choke the life out of it so it never comes to light. But then he withdraws his finger to the very tip, swiping his finger along my entrance. And when he sinks back inside me, he adds 2 more fingers. My eyes roll as he stretches me, caressing that sweet spot over and over, while his teeth bite into my clit anew. The dark side of me wins while I watch helplessly as my body renews its struggle, but this time I'm shamefully grinding myself against him. He's not giving me what my body has begun to crave, to need, in order to assuage the pleasure building deep in my belly. He continues to scour my clit with his teeth, nipping and biting but refusing to give me his tongue. Frustration mounts until I'm brimming with it. I'm so angry, but now it's because he's denying me pleasure. "Asshole!" I screech against the tape. The answering smile against my pussy is evident that he heard me. Giving in to the anger, I kick my leg out with unrestrained force. He dodges the kick by a mere inch. A feral growl tears from his chest, and he pushes my knee back down with bruising force. The sound wasn't of desire like before, but anger. Even if I were forced in front of a priest tomorrow, no fear of God would convince me to confess how fucking sexy that growl was. Or how hard my pussy pulsed in response. I'll never confess that, not even to myself. He tightens his grip to a punishing hold. Tomorrow, I'll have handprints on the underside of my thighs. They'll go nicely with the hickeys smattering my body.
What did you learn, little mouse?
He taunts, blowing hot breath directly onto my clit. I growl, another frustrated tear leaking down my temple and into my hairline.
Are you going to tell me to fuck off again?
He asks, darting out his tongue for a sharp lick. It's there and gone before I can get any satisfaction from it. I shout at him some more until he finally reaches up and rips the tape from my mouth. I curse against the flaring pain in my face, and then keep cursing now that he can finally fucking hear me. "You fucking psycho mother—" My tangent is cut short due to another painful bite to my clit.
Try again. Are you going to tell me to fuck off again?
I heave, trying to calm myself down but failing. I don't even know how to begin to name the emotions swelling inside of me. I could explode from the force of them converging all in my chest. Probably. I grind out through gritted teeth. He chuckles, a musical sound so dark it must come straight from an Edgar Allan Poe flick. He nips at me again, but this one lighter and more playful.
Do you understand what's going to happen from now on when you do?
I clamp my mouth shut, refusing to answer such a stupid fucking question. I understand perfectly what's going to happen. It's just a matter of listening. In response to my nonverbal answer, he withdraws his fingers, leaving me bereft. But before I can complain, he licks me again. This time slower and more languid. He flattens his tongue and licks me from the bottom up, going particularly slow over my pulsating clit. My eyes close against the sensation, a breath whooshing from my throat. There's no stopping the shivers that encase my spine, no stopping the bliss radiating from where his tongue laps up my cunt. I arch my back, growling from how easily my body turns to jello beneath his unfairly skilled tongue. But just as I start to grind against his mouth, shamefully and unabashedly, he stops.
Do you understand?
He asks again, his tone lilted with superiority. A frustrated sob works its way up my throat, but I swallow it back down. It takes several swallows before I feel confident to speak levelly, though the words taste like battery acid on my tongue. Loud and fucking clear, kitty cat. A dark chuckle skitters across my core, and I'm ashamed of how my body responds. My ass curves toward his mouth without permission, seeking what it needs. His tongue dives into my pussy, licking inside of me with ravenous strokes. A cry leaves my lips, breathless and embarrassingly loud. The pressure builds as he finally does what I've been silently begging for. His tongue swirls up to my clit with the perfect amount of pressure, paying special attention to the abused bud, before dipping lower again and spearing the muscle inside of my pussy. Cries of pleasure echo throughout the room, and now I regret the tape ever leaving my mouth. Because I don't want him to hear what he's doing to me, but I can't seem to contain myself either. I just lose myself to him and the thrashing of his tongue on my clit. It's impossible to resist as the coil deep in my stomach curls painfully tight. I can't stop him from sucking my clit into his mouth any more than I can control the orgasm from reaching its peak. I suck in a sharp breath, a strangled cry escaping as my body falls over the edge. He plunges 2 fingers inside me just as I do, and the bliss is catastrophic. I no longer care to hold back the sharp screams, nor do I stop my thighs from clamping his head firmly between them. Drown in my fucking pussy. Die there for all I care. Euphoria consumes me, wrapping me so tightly in its clutches, all 5 of my senses are lost to it. This isn't a climb to heaven, it's a fall from grace. I'll never recover, not when my soul has been ripped from my body and dragged down to hell. I fell so deeply that I found myself in the devil's lair, being feasted on from the dark god himself. Moans rack from my throat, and I feel his answering groan. His hands clutch at my thighs, prying them apart just enough to continue to lap at my throbbing cunt, riding out the orgasm for longer than my body can handle. He rips his mouth away and crawls up my body while continuing to fuck me with his fingers. I'm still delirious, my mouth still parted as I continue to moan, so when he pinches my cheeks, holding my mouth open, I hardly care. His fingers feel too good. His mouth skates over my lips once before I watch a trail of saliva drip from his mouth into mine.
Swallow your juices,
He rasps, and I do. My throat works as the unique taste blooms across my tongue. He growls deep in his chest before he crushes his lips to mine. I let him. Later, I'll ask myself why, but with his fingers still drawing out pleasure, despite my orgasm having faded and the fog clouding my judgment, I fucking let him. Not only that, but I kiss back. His tongue dives into my mouth, swirling with my own. Fire and electricity spark from our connected lips, and it feels like planets colliding, like the energy is astronomical. And with every brush and every lick, a new star is being born. Time ceases to exist as he kisses me until my lips are bruised, and I'm sure I'll come out of this with a permanent stutter in my breathing. At one point, he withdrew his fingers and cupped my face with his hands, almost sweetly. A stark contrast to, well, him and the way he devours me. He yanks himself away when our bodies begin to grind ruthlessly and moans slip free, and I'm glad for it. The second he retreats, it's like time and clarity come rushing back in, hitting me over the head like someone just clocked me with a bat. I don't open my eyes. I just suck in deeply, breathless from that kiss. His body slips out from between my thighs, and I immediately snap my knees inward and drop my feet, hiding myself from his ravenous eyes. Being consumed by him feels like drowning in water with a live wire in it. Electric currents ravish your body until you're overcome with it. No oxygen, no thought, no control. And when it's over, he yanks you out of the water. The electricity still dancing across your skin, currents sparking between your bodies. But you can see and think clearly again. All you can feel is like you've been ripped to shreds, like your body chemistry has been completely rearranged and you've come out of that water an entirely different person. I hate him for it. I hate him more than I've ever hated anyone. The bliss fades, and the familiar feeling of fury and hatred reawaken. He doesn't speak, but I feel the power bubbling beneath his skin. I can feel the desire, the thirst, the absolute ravenous beast threatening to tear from his skin. If it does, I can no longer trust myself to stop him from consuming me from the inside out. And the realization makes me want to cry. I let it fucking happen. Again. With the gun and now this, why do I keep letting this happen? He's forcing himself on me, we both know that. But in the end, he had me wanting it just as much as he did. He had me nearly begging for it, whether it was his gun fucking me or his tongue. My legs fell open by the time it was over. Not to mention, we just made out like two horny teenagers about to lose their virginity. I don't know what the fuck to do with that information, or how the hell to even process it. A moment of silence passes, the air disturbed only by our heavy breathing. I'm not strong enough to open my eyes and face what happened. I'm scared of what I'll do, what I'll say. For the first time, the asshole in the sky finally listens to my pleas and compels this man to reach over, untie the ropes, and walk the fuck away. I force my eyes open and watch him go, swallowing the venom that threatens to spew from my mouth. If I let it loose, I know it'll just result in him carrying out another threat. He pauses at the door, turning his head just enough for the moonlight to reveal his sharp jawline, the wetness coating his skin, and a hint of a scar. He doesn't speak, but he does bite his bottom lip, hard, trapping whatever meaningless words on his tongue, right along with the taste of my pussy. Finally, he turns, the door gently clicking shut behind him. For the second time, I'm left alone, decimated and in ruins, and again, I let the tears fall freely while I work to pick up the pieces. June 19th, 1945. John is drunk again. I told him that I needed space and of course I sneaked off to see Ronaldo. I know. My husband is hurt and angry, and to escape his harsh but validated words, I run off to cheat. God, I'm terrible. I truly am. But I don't know how to stop. And lately, I haven't been feeling the safest. John is drinking more, and though he hasn't hurt me yet, I fear he might. He seems to grow angrier as the days pass. He comes home from work and yells at Sarah for the simplest things. He's even made her cry a few times. I've tried to explain to her that we're going through a rough patch. She's 15 now and old enough to understand that marriages aren't all sunshine and rainbows. She begged me to work it out with him, but I'm not entirely sure I want to anymore, even if it's for Sarah's sake. And I know that makes me incredibly selfish.
Chapter 19. The Shadow. I don't regret it, not any more than when I stuck a gun in her cunt and made her come. And I know how fucked up that is, to take something without consent. I know that's what I'm fighting against every day. She hasn't given it to me yet, but she will. I know my little mouse better than she knows herself. She's in too much denial to see how drawn she is to me. If she wasn't, she wouldn't instigate, pushing to get her clit bitten, knowing damn well I stay true to my word. If she genuinely wasn't intrigued, she wouldn't have texted me back in the first place. Her actions speak an entirely different language than her words, a language filled with desire and pleas. She just hasn't learned to translate it yet. Doesn't make it right, nor does it justify it, but I can't make myself regret tasting something so fucking sweet, so fucking perfect, even if she didn't want it, because that's what that was. She knew I was going to follow through with my threat if she told me to fuck off again, and she kept doing it anyways, and that tells me that my little mouse can't control how she really feels. This means that whatever she feels, it's fucking addicting. She fought me so hard initially, her anger and ire only turning my blood to molten lava. The harder she fought me, the harder my cock fought against the confines of my genes. I wanted so badly to release the zipper and plunge myself deep inside that sweet little pussy. I was close, too fucking close to doing it. Once those cries of pleasure reached my ears, and she gripped me in her hold, shamelessly grinding against my face, I was nearly done for. The only thing that stopped me was the look on her face. When she was coming on my face, she was unashamed. But as soon as the orgasm drained from her body and the kiss was no longer consuming us, she felt nothing but shame. It's going to take time, I remind myself. I crack my neck, releasing a shuddering breath. I'm sitting in my Mustang, my dick still painfully pressed against my zipper, just as I decide to say fuck it. Jacking off in a car is the least of my sins and wouldn't be the first fucking time. My phone blares in the console next to me. I curl my hand into a tight fist, my muscles straining as I fight the overwhelming urge to bash it into the fucking window. I don't think I've had blue balls like this since high school, when Sarah Fortin jacked me off in the locker room. It was the first time a girl touched my dick, and I didn't even get to finish because Coach walked in before I could shoot my load off on her pretty tits. I snatch up the phone and bring it to my ear without even looking. Yeah? I snap, my frustration boiling to dangerous levels. Didn't get laid tonight? Jay croons through the phone, his voice laced with mocking amusement. I crack my neck again, growling when my muscles don't pop and give me any relief. Jay, I growl. I refuse to touch my dick while on the phone with him. As much as I need to lessen the pressure, Jay's voice would make me feel sick. Satan's affair is coming to town, he starts. I open my mouth, gearing up to ask him why the fuck that would matter to me. And I got confirmation there's tickets with 4 little birdies' names on them, he continues. I snap my mouth shut. Why would they go there? I ask, completely confused why 4 grown-ass men would go to a haunted fair. Prime girls for the picking, my friend, and now there's a ticket with your name on it. I sigh. When? 3 weeks from now. Plenty of time to go to the clubs a few times and start showing that pretty face of yours. Sighing again, I pluck the pack of cigarettes from the console, bring it to my mouth, and slide out a cigarette with my teeth. I grab my lighter and flick the flame, inhaling deeply as the cherry blares red. You're smoking, aren't you? Jay says. I offer a non-committal confirmation as I roll down my window and blow out smoke. The raging hard-on is gone, but my dick still hurts. You said you were going to quit, he whines. Do you know how many chemicals are in that? According to the J, I snap, cutting off his tangent. If I let it go on, he'd list off the ingredients in a cigarette like he's listing off all the components in the periodic table. Nobody fucking cares. He sighs like an angry teenager on their period. Whatever, he mumbles. Update me if anything else comes up, I say, before clicking off the phone. I drag in another inhale of smoke and turn my attention to my laptop. The inside of my Mustang is decked out in gadgets. A laptop sits on a platform, a mechanical arm attached to the dash so I can push and pull it towards me for convenience. Dash cams, an alert system for law enforcement, and other illegal shit decorate the interior of my car. I pull the laptop towards me and fire it on. The bright screen stabs at my sensitive eyes. Squinting against the light, I pull up my programs and get to work. In pure curiosity, I want to know who is attending this haunted fair. It comes to town every single year, and I've never bothered to go. Haunted houses don't scare me, not when I see true horror every day. There's nothing a couple of made-up monsters can do to horrify me, more than the actual monsters polluting this world. Humans don't need to decorate themselves in gory makeup and fake blood to be scary. It's the inside of us, the darkness that lurks beneath the surface. That's what's truly fucking terrifying. That's what leads people to commit heinous crimes every single day. That's what leads innocent little kids to die horrific deaths for no fucking reason at all. The insides of us. That's what keeps me alive. It's the only purpose I have in life, and without it, I'd be nothing. I scroll through the list of names and stop short when I see one in particular that has my heart pounding. Adeline Riley. I smile. Well, that used to be my only reason for living, but now? Now I've discovered a new meaning to life. Me. I can still taste you, little mouse. I stepped back for all of 2 days before I could no longer resist. I've beat my dick like it was an opponent in a boxing match, and I'm so fucking tired of the feel of my own hand. There are zero expectations for her to reply today. I'm sure she's still nestled comfortably in that corner of her head where she hates herself and is convinced she'll never give me the time of day again. But that corner is a farce, and we both know it. The feel of my gun inside her scared her, but the feel of my tongue on her pussy and how hard she came will fucking haunt her. She'll cry about it for a little while, but soon she'll fall right back into temptation.
Addie, did you know a stalker killed my great-grandmother?
My brows shoot into my hairline at her text. Not only was I not expecting one at all, but the fact that she replied with real words and not some empty threat. Hers don't necessarily hold weight like mine do. Me. Do you have proof of this? Based on the few journal entries I read, she and her stalker had a passionate relationship, and he was also tossed up with some bad people according to the entry of him visiting her with unknown injuries. It didn't seem like he showed signs of aggression or violent obsession, but who really knows? Addie's great-grandmother could have just been seeing what she wanted to see, and he really did kill her. Or maybe her husband caught her having an affair and flew into a fit of rage. Both possibilities are equally likely, just as it's likely that whatever shit her stalker got mixed up in could have bitten him in the ass. And bite they did, right where it would have hurt him most. His obsession. After I poked through the diary, I became curious and looked deeper into her great-grandmother's story. The pull of history repeating itself was too intriguing. The crime scene was trampled over, and the detectives handling the case were complete imbeciles.
Addie, not yet, but I'm going to find it. And I'll be proven right. All stalkers are just fucking psychotic freaks.
I purse my lips, a smile threatening to take over. I'll let her stew on her response for a few minutes. Let her think she pissed me off, or hurt me, whatever she's convinced herself my reaction would be. She thinks she knows me already, but my little mouse couldn't be further from the truth. I stalk her because I'm fucking addicted. I'm fascinated with every move she makes, every word that comes from her pretty pink mouth. And now I'm addicted to her scent, her taste, and the way she sounds when she's scared for her life, just as much as I'm addicted to the way she sounds when she's begging for more. It's not something I can explain. When I saw her, I fucking nearly fell to my knees with need, and I will have her. But not because I'm psychotic and delusional. I'm not going to make a goddamn shrine of her and convince myself that we were destined to be together by the gods, or whatever weird shit people believe in these days. I'll have her because she's the first thing that made me feel something good in so long, and I've become obsessed with keeping it. I don't have very many something goods in my life, and I don't care if it makes me selfish for wanting to hold on to it. The only way I'll be able to truly keep her is if she sees me at my worst. I would rather just off myself than trick Addie into loving me as a good man, just to break both of our hearts when she realizes I'm not a good man at all. So my obsession with her is what it is. Me. Well, that's pretty judgy, don't you think? Your great-grandmother loved her stalker last time I checked. She's going to be pissed when she sees that I snooped through her great-grandmother's diaries. Smiling, I pull up the camera feed of her house on my phone and click through until I find Addie sitting on her bed, staring at her phone. I was alerted when she took out the camera in her bedroom, and it wasn't hard to sneak in while she was out and set up my own. Though I can't see her face very well, it doesn't take a telescope to see she's glaring holes into the screen. She's pretty fun when she's angry. Her thumbs start moving a mile a minute, and I can't help but laugh when she slam dunks the phone on her pillow after she hits send. My phone buzzes a second later.
Addie, he tricked her, just like what you're trying to do to me, and then he killed her. Just like I'm sure you'll eventually try to do too.
I roll my eyes at her dramatics and hit the call button. She picks up the phone, but doesn't speak. I hear her breathing softly through the receiver, and I wish I were there to lick her pulse, to feel it drumming against my tongue. I love that I scare her. You done being dramatic? I ask, letting her hear the amusement in my voice. She huffs, and I can picture the scowl on her face. My cock hardens in my jeans, swelling to the point of pain in a matter of seconds.
Dramatic? You think Gigi being murdered by her stalker is dramatic? Do you think being stalked at all is something to take lightly?
Well, of course not, I reply. People die all the time from crazed stalkers. My honesty stuns her into silence. Addie, baby, you're smart for being scared, very smart. But why would I want you to fall in love with something fake? She snorts.
You really think I'd fall in love with you?
You're really going to act like you wouldn't. If I approached you in that bookstore and asked you on a date, I'd woo you, charm you, show you a pretty fake smile, and treat you like a queen, all while lying to your face. Is that really what you want? Silence greets me again. She can't say no, and she knows it.
Why can't you just be decent and not feel the need to stalk me?
Because then I wouldn't be true to myself, little mouse. I love that I scare you. I love that you try to run from me. The push and pull. The cat and mouse game. I fucking love it. And I think a part of you does too. She scoffs at me.
You're fucking insane if you think I love you scaring me. But then again, I already knew you were.
I smile. I can't remember the last time I genuinely smiled before I inserted myself into this beautiful creature's life. Don't you, though? I see how you try to hide how wet your pussy gets when you're scared. Your nipples get so fucking hard, and you clench your thighs tight, as if that's going to lessen the need to feel my cock inside of you. She gasps, a quiet inhale of breath. I grind my teeth against the raging urge to go to her house and bring that noise out of her some more.
Did you do it?
She asks suddenly, as if the question burst out of her. Her breathing escalates.
Did you kill Arch?
I bite my bottom lip, a smile forming. I've been waiting for this question. Surprised it took her so long to work up the nerve when she's got plenty of it to disobey me. I think you already know the answer to that, Adeline.
I do. His family is dead, too.
I'm not surprised to hear that she knows. It made national news, after all. Bodies are gone without a trace, and a bit of a war has begun now that there's a power vacuum.
Do you know what that caused, kitty cat?
I chuckle at the nickname. I'll correct that little bad habit of hers soon.
It gained me some pretty fucked up enemies.
My smile fades. I've been keeping an eye on Arch's friends, but apparently I haven't been keeping it close enough. Max, I guess. I've heard he's been strong-arming his way to the top.
Yup,
She says sassily, popping the P. I hum, my mind wandering to all the ways I'm going to teach Max and his crew a lesson. I had hoped they would be smart enough to leave Addie alone with her police reports disappearing. She listened and didn't report the hands to the police. In retrospect, Max has no reason to target Addie, which means he had to have found out about the hands.
that's it? That's all you have to say? Some pretty dangerous men are after me because of you, you know. If I end up dead because of your psychotic jealous—
Let me stop you there, baby, because you seem to forget that I had a gun in your pussy not too long ago. Did you think teaching you how to act right is the only lesson I'm teaching with that? She quiets. If you think low-life criminals are scarier than me, then I haven't been clear enough, have I? Next time you place them above me, I'll be sending their heads to your doorstep next. I crack my neck, the flare of anger receding now that Addie has closed her pretty little mouth. She's starting to learn, but I hope to God she never stops talking back. I do like to punish her.
I don't even know why I'm talking to you.
She finally stutters out.
You're a sick, deranged individual, and I already made another police report against you, asshole.
Lies. The last report she made about me was the night she pretended to call when I stood outside her house. She was attempting to scare me away, but once I called her out on it, she followed through with the threat. My girl doesn't back down from a challenge. I walked back to my car with a stiff cock and a smile on my face. I don't back down either. A bark of laughter bursts from my throat before I can stop it.
That's funny?
That's sexy, but we both know that's not true. I've been deleting them since she started making them and sent a guy in to destroy any physical evidence. The policemen will recall going to her house, but the second they try to investigate, if they ever got off their asses, that is, they would have nothing to go off of. Not that stalking cases are ever taken seriously anyways, which is why so many women end up murdered. She growls and hangs up on me, and I can't keep in the fucking laughter, especially when I pull the feet up and see her stomping her cute little feet around the house, mumbling to herself, probably berating herself for even picking up the phone. The fun has only just begun, little mouse. Chapter 20. The Shadow. The bass from the music is all-consuming. It feels like the beat is coming from inside my chest. I never quite got used to the volume in clubs. I make my way through the throng of grinding couples, drunk girls shaking their asses, and obnoxious douchebags wearing too much cologne with a mountain of gel in their hair. Oh, God. One even has his button-up parted so he can show off the gold chain dangling on his hairy, overly tanned chest. Scarface is a role model very few manage to do justice to when they imitate him. They can stick their faces in a pile of coke, but don't exhibit the same finesse while doing so. My hood is pulled over my head, concealing my identity as I make my way up the metal stairs. The same metal steps Addie climbed up not too long ago with another man's hand wrapped around hers. I enjoyed sawing off that hand and would definitely do it again. When I reach the landing, I stop short. On the half-moon couch is Max, with his legs spread, and a waitress bouncing up and down on his lap while his head is kicked back with his eyes closed. Her skirt is hiked up, and her thong pulled to the side, bearing her pussy eating up Max's cock for all to see. I arch a brow, unimpressed with how low she has to bounce. Addie would never have that issue. A pair of twins sit on either edge, receiving their own treatment from a girl. Sighing, I step back in the shadows, pulling out my gun and screwing on the silencer piece. The bass is milder up here, but a bullet zipping by your ear will draw anyone's attention. I take aim and shoot, the bullet an inch away from Max's head. Immediately, he dives for cover, pushing the poor girl off him and onto the floor. She yelps, covering her body as she scrambles up and makes a run for it. "Hey," I say calmly. She freezes, while the twins move into action, reaching for their own guns while Max quickly yanks up his slacks to cover his now flaccid dick. "I'd appreciate it if you tucked the guns back in your pockets along with your dicks. None of you are my type. Unfortunately for you, I only have one, and she's got pretty light brown eyes and a penchant for dangerous men." When one of the twins doesn't listen, continuing to pull out the gun and take aim, I fire off one shot next to his head, too. He drops the gun and raises his hands. I turn my eyes to the three girls. "I want you, beautiful ladies, to see yourselves out and never speak of this again, yeah? I have the memory of an elephant, especially with faces. These women will never see the wrong end of my gun, even if they do tell, but it sure as hell would make my life a lot harder if they knew that." They all nod and run out of the room like there's a Rottweiler nipping at their bare asses. "Who the fuck are you? Where the fuck is security?" Max spits, a hand resting on the gun in the back of his pants. "Security from this club?" I laugh. "You know, for someone who has some pretty seedy business dealings, you're a cocky son of a bitch for not having your own damn guards." Max sniffs with indignation. I smile wider, realizing that he's still struggling with loyalty and that pesky power vacuum now that the Talaveras are wiped out. "Couldn't get any loyal guards. Mind your fucking business, he snaps. Who are you, and what do you want? I trot over to where he's sitting and take a seat next to him, sighing as if I just sat on a beach chair on a private island with a pina colada. And then I press the cold metal of my silencer to his temple. I'm riding on the fact that at least these two bozos will show him a shred of loyalty. Does it freak you out when someone pops up out of nowhere and threatens your life? I'll admit I was a bit more direct, but the intention is the same. The twins' eyes shift to each other. What the fuck are you talking about, man? I'll tell you why I'm here when the three of you set those pretty little guns you got riding up your assholes on the table there, I say, nodding my head towards said table. The twins look to Max for direction, and when he nods, they listen. Oh, goody. He does have two people that have a shred of loyalty. Let's see how long that lasts when someone who is clearly in over their head is running the show. A bead of sweat drips down Max's forehead as he follows my directions, nearly throwing the weapon on the table from his anger. The other two follow suit, one twin picking his up from the ground, and the other sliding his out from the back of his pants before setting them on the table with Max's, slowly and gently, indicating this isn't their first rodeo where a gun is in their face. Adeline Riley and Dea Pearsons. Those names ring any bells in those empty heads of yours? Max's eyes round at the edges slightly, enough to reveal recognition. Never heard. Here's the thing about liars, I cut in. I really don't fucking like them. They kind of make me twitchy, actually. Do you want me getting twitchy when my finger is on a trigger? Max's lips tighten into a hard line. Your girl was involved in my best friend, and here's the thing about assumptions. I cut in again, grinning when Max snarls with irritation. They're baseless, and most of the time you're really fucking wrong. Addie doesn't have anything to do with Archie's death, but I do. Max's head jerks toward me, but is deterred by the gun still firmly pressed against his temple. He grits his teeth, his chest heaving with fury. I smile as his body trembles. What? Is Addie an ex or something? You get jealous she wanted Arch instead? Max hisses. Man, those two really were besties. They sound exactly alike when laid on their deathbed. I shrug, unbothered. I did get jealous, but she's certainly no ex. Your best friend was a shit person. You sorry pieces of shit may get off on slapping around women, but can't say I find enjoyment out of that. I will fucking kill. You're not going to do shit. I interrupt for the third time. You're a tadpole in an ocean of sharks, and you have no fucking idea who I am, but you're about to learn. When Max's eyes meet mine, I flash my teeth, pull out my phone, and click the play button on the awaiting video. Max's father sits in a chair with a gag in his mouth. Sweat and tears run down his face as he looks at the camera with all the fear humankind has ever known. The two of them are as close as a father and son can be, sharing the same interests in drugs and tossing around women for the hell of it. His father rambles behind the gag, pleading for his life. I have no plans to kill the man. While he's a shitty human, he wouldn't be any good to me dead. Not when he's going to be the leverage hanging over Max's head. I came awfully close to walking in here and shooting them all dead, but then I'd have to kill all their families too, and my girl doesn't like it when I do that. Now that Addie's on their radar, the more of them I kill, the more enemies I make, not only for myself, but her too. Exhibit A. The dickhead who has my gun pressed to his head because I killed his best friend. I don't have the goddamn time to deal with small fish when I have great whites floating around in my ocean. Too bad for them. I'm a fucking megalodon. What did you do to him? Max shouts, jerking forward towards the guns. I grab his arm and haul him back against the booth, a breath of air puffing out of his chest from the force. He's not dead, so settle down. No need to yell, my ears are sensitive. Colorful expletives spill from his mouth, but I ignore them and tap the silencer on the underside of his chin, hard enough to make him bite his tongue. As long as you leave Addie and Dea alone for good, Daddy Dearest will continue to live a long, healthy life. I don't want to see a goddamn hair out of place on either of their heads, you feel me? I know everything about you, Max, and your two helpers over there, too. I know where you eat, sleep, and shit, and I will watch you until some other sorry asshole puts a bullet in your brain. You picking up what I'm putting down? His blue eyes narrow into slits, glaring at me heatedly. It's the equivalent to throwing a bunny at me, but whatever makes the asshole feel like Elmer Fudd. I stopped the video of Max's sniveling father and stand, keeping my gun trained on him, specifically on his dick. Most men would rather die than live without a dick. We have a deal, Elmer? His brows plunge at the name, but he doesn't question it. Having a gun pointed at your family jewels changes your priorities sometimes. Yes, as long as you let him go. I flash a wide smile. He's already on his way home. I turn to leave, walking back over to the staircase before his voice stops me once more. Hey, you never said who you were, Max calls from behind me, his voice still packed full of unbridled anger. Turning to look over my shoulder, a feral grin curls my lips, and I say with a wink, "You can call me Z." And then I see myself out, laughing from the look on their paling faces.
Mr. Forthright, welcome to Pearl.
The blonde woman says, ushering me into the dimly lit foyer. She's dressed in a plain black blazer and skirt, with nondescript heels, and her hair pulled back into a tight bun. Shit looks painful. A serene smile is on her face, but her bright blue eyes are missing their sparkle. The baby blue color is lifeless, and it's my first clue that she's seen too much in this place. I enter into what looks like a foyer with gold-tiled flooring, black walls, and an obscene chandelier. Gold-framed pictures of the founding members of the Gentlemen's Club line the walls. Or, in other words, a bunch of fucking rapists line the walls. Men in business suits, smiling at the camera, and probably still riding the high from raping a little girl or boy. They all look the fucking same to me. I walk down the hallway, the creepy men staring at me from either side the whole way down, while music with a heavy bass emanates from somewhere ahead of me. I'm keeping the earpiece tucked safely away in my jacket until it's needed. It took 5 minutes to get in this godforsaken place because Detective Fingers from security wanted to thoroughly investigate my ass crack. I had to spend several minutes lecturing him about what would happen if his fingers brushed up against my asshole one more time. After walking down Rapist Alley, I walk into a massive room filled with couches and poker tables. Men lounge on the couches, with women draped over their laps and shaking their asses or tits in their faces. At the back of the stage, a woman is currently humping a pole, while men are throwing dollar bills at her. A full bar is off to the left of that, where several men in business suits sit, drinking glasses of alcohol, probably $50,000 scotch that tastes like ass. Then again, they probably enjoy that taste since they think their own farts smell like flowers. Women in scantily clad clothing roam the room, delivering drinks and pretending to laugh at their lame jokes and... what the fuck? 10 feet from me, a woman stands at a poker bar holding out her bare arm while an asshole stubs out his very lit cigar on her skin. My face drops when I see that asshole is Mark fucking Seinberg. God damn it. Smoke sizzles from her flesh, but she doesn't move an inch. In fact, she doesn't even flinch. Anger punches through my chest. I force myself to stay calm as I walk over to the table, acting more interested in the game than I am in the girl. As I get closer, I notice she has a blank look on her face, much like the hostess that greeted me. The smell of burnt flesh fills the area. One dickhead even waves his hand in front of his nose dramatically, as if it's her fault it smells. She drops her arm and just stands there, a glazed look in her eyes. After closer inspection, I notice that the entirety of her arm is covered in burn scars, old and fresh, all in different stages of healing, and plenty of fresh burns from tonight. Mark shoos her away, and she robotically turns and walks off as if she didn't just have a cigar stubbed out on her flesh. She's drugged, and after looking around at the women, I realize they all are. Not only does it keep them compliant, but they probably won't remember the majority of the shit that goes down in here. My mask stays in place, refusing to crack from the anger swirling in the depths of my chest. Keeping my eyes on the table, I approach the men. "Gentlemen, who's winning tonight?" 5 pairs of eyes turn to look at me, all with snide looks on their faces. I can tell what they're thinking without them even saying it. "Who are you? What gives you the right to speak to us?" "I am." Mark chirps, and I literally couldn't have planned that better myself. It's like God opened up his hands and dropped that fine piece of blessing in my lap himself. "Do you play, boy?" What I really want to do is smack the shit out of him for calling me boy when I'm a 32-year-old man, but instead I offer a devious smile. "Sure do," I say. Mark looks over at a bald man and tips his chin up. "Let him have your spot." The table seems to go silent. I keep my expression calm as the bald man stares back at Mark with a blank expression, but he doesn't have his eyes on lockdown. Anger sparks in his brown pools, and he looks at Mark, much like how I really want to, like he wants to kill him. It's for the best, really. He wasn't a good poker player anyways, if he couldn't even keep his anger in check. Calmly, the man stands and places his cards down. Royal flush. He would have won that round. I keep my face blank, not unveiling the smile that's threatening to emerge. I would feel bad for him if he didn't get off on hurting women. Who am I kidding? I wouldn't feel bad at all. While Mark was burning his cigar on the waitress's flesh, this bald man over here was adjusting himself. He wasn't the only one, though, and I made sure to note every one of their faces for later. The man gives Mark and me one last look before walking off without a word. The valuable little lesson that came out of that embarrassing spectacle was that Marky Mark here has power. Whatever weight he pulls, it's enough to give him superiority over the common folk. Wonder how many little boys' and girls' lives it took to get that far. "What's your name, boy?" he asks. "Zach Forthright," I lie easily. "Name's Mark Steinberg. I'm sure you already know who I am, though. How long have you been playing poker?" Mark asks as they restart the game, brushing over his narcissism like the notion of me not knowing who he is isn't an option. I know exactly who he is, but not for the reasons he thinks. "Since I was a kid," I answer truthfully. "My father was a professional poker player, and he taught me how to master a poker face, something that has been crucial to my field of work. He'd sit me on his lap as a little boy, teaching me the game, and then show me his cards as he played with his friends, testing me to see if I could keep a blank face. He lost a lot of games doing that, but he truly believed I wouldn't learn how to master a poker face unless I knew what it meant to play the game. He'd whisper in my ear, point out my tells, and teach me how to not only read and understand facial expressions, but micro-expressions. During that time, my father never truly lost any money. After my lesson, I'd run off and play, and he'd win all his money back plus some. It took me a couple of years to master a poker face, and even longer to master the game itself, but he made me play against him once I did. I beat him in the first game, and I don't think I've ever seen pride in a man's eyes shine brighter since that day." "Well, boy, let's see what you're made of then." He'll find out what a bullet is made of when it's lodged in his throat, but I don't say that. Throughout the next several hours, I purposely stay neck and neck with him. I understand a narcissist's ego enough to know that it would have only angered him if I cleaned him out. And if I'm horrible, he won't respect me, so I keep the playing field even. You win some, you lose some, back and forth until he slaps his cards down with a hearty laugh. "I've met my match," he chortles, taking a drink out of his whiskey glass. I smile prettily at him. "You're a lot better than I gave you credit for," I praise. He offers me a cigar and I take one, but I'd let Detective Fingers finger blast my ass before I put it out on a girl's arm. I'll have to figure out a way to stop him without breaking his neck if he tries it again. "How come I haven't seen you here before?" he asks, eyeing me closely as he lights his cigar. Not necessarily suspicious, but every man in these types of clubs looks at a new member with an air of wariness. I'd recognize those nasty scars anywhere. That was fucking rude, but he's not wrong. I shrug a shoulder. My money is new, I lie. Zach Forthright is a self-made millionaire from web design and branding. If that name is Googled, there will be a Wikipedia page and social media posts with fake followers and engagement, but everything is a blanket site. Once I start gaining a reputation here and showing my face more, I'll be looked into, and I'll have little enough to raise an eyebrow or two, but nothing that would make someone think I'm trying to take down the club. How'd you get them? He asks, nodding his head at my face. Bully in middle school? Pretty fucked up kid that liked to play with knives. I lie again, flashing a grin, and then I shrug. The ladies seem to like them. He chuckles. Oh, I bet they do. The young girls have always liked that, what do you call it, bad boy look. Before I can respond, a waitress approaches with refills of our drinks, the same glazed look in her eyes. Come here, sweetie, Mark says to the girl, patting his hand on his knee for her to sit on. The wedding ring on his finger glints in the light, as if to shine a light on the fact that he's a skeevy son of a bitch. Addie won't ever have to worry about that shit when I marry her, that's for damn sure. She doesn't even have to worry about it now. The only pussy I want wrapped around my cock for the rest of my life is hers. The waitress looks at him like he's merely an apparition. She's looking through him. Robotically, she sits on his lap, a toneless smile gracing her bright red lips. Mark cuddles her closer, looking at her with a smarmy grin. From here, I can see his cock growing in his pants. Normally, I'm not one to judge another man's dick, but when it's hard for an abused girl and the tent is lackluster, well, that's just disgusting on many levels. He pulls her back directly onto his dick, gripping her hips tightly and guiding her ass to grind against him. I sigh, keeping my composure. Carefully, I swallow the last of my whiskey and purposely set it on the edge. I raise my nose in the air, sniffing dramatically. What is that delectable smell? I ask aloud. Mark looks over to me, his grin growing while I stare at the girl. You smell delicious. Lean over, let me smell you. The girl doesn't hesitate. We both lean towards each other, and once her body is hovering over my empty glass, I flick it. The glass tips, and it goes crashing to the black-tiled floor. Thousands of glass pieces shatter, the sound ringing out loudly despite the heavy music in the room. Chatter ceases, and heads swivel towards the commotion. Reminds me of high school when a kid farted in class and the whole room went silent and stared at him until his face turned purple. The girl jumps up, tiptoeing her platform heels through the glass as planned.
I'm so sorry.
She apologizes, the first hint of inflection in her tone.
I'll clean this up right away.
Are you fucking kidding me? I shout, glaring at her like she's the one that knocked it over. Her mouth falls open and I stand. Come to the back with me, I snarl, my eyes flashing with fury. She curls in on herself while the other men snicker. Clumsy bitch, one of the men mutters, looking at her the same way you would if you accidentally touched the weak old gum stuck to the bottom of your desk. I'll be back once I take care of her, I say directly to Mark. He laughs heartily, enjoying the thought of an innocent woman being punished for something so trivial. The old fuck probably falls over once a week and needs life alert to get back up. Asshole can't talk about glass falling when he can't even keep his body vertical. I grab the woman's arm firmly, jerking her against me and dragging her away. She doesn't fight too hard. Self-preservation is kicking in, fighting its way through the cloud of drugs in her system, but she has long accepted her fate. As soon as I get her into a quiet room, I turn to her. She's already dropped to her knees, her green eyes looking up at me with sorrow and acceptance. She's a beautiful girl, with bright red hair, grass-green eyes, and freckles dotting her nose. Something about her reminds me a little of Addie, and I nearly walk right back out and crush my fist in Mark's face just for touching her. Get up, I say firmly. She gets to her feet unsteadily, looking much like a baby giraffe walking for the first time. I'm going to get you out of here, I say. Her brow puckers and she frowns.
Sir?
What's your name, sweetheart? She stutters over the question.
Cherry.
I shake my head. Is that your real name or stage name? She rolls her lips.
Real?
Her parents are really fucking unoriginal. Like, might as well have a second child and name her Strawberry or Watermelon. Anyway, besides the point. How would you feel about getting a fresh start in life, yeah? Her eyes widen, and it seems like the prospect of escaping this one has some of the drug-induced fog receding from her gaze. But then she turns wary, and then resigned. Tears line the edges of her lids, and the sight will forever haunt me. She looks down, seeming to collect herself.
I know what that means. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize I was leaning that far down.
I'm not going to hurt or kill you, Cherry. I cut in. I'm going to help you, but I need you to listen to exactly what I say. She shifts on her feet, peering up at me through her lashes and bobbing her head frantically. I slip out the Bluetooth earpiece I had hidden deep in my inner suit pocket. All of my jackets have a special lead lining in them that deflects radiation, meaning I can walk through any body scanner without the devices being detected. I pop it in my ear, press the button that immediately calls out to Jay, and wait for him to answer. When he does, I explain the situation. It takes 15 minutes before he has a car ready to pick her up. In that time, Cherry tells me about her family, about her younger sister that has cancer, and her poor single mother. She works this job to pay the medical bills, but she confesses that she doesn't know if it's worth it if she's killed and the extra income stops. She won't ever have to worry about taking care of them again, or being killed because of a broken glass. Jay watches the camera feed and directs me towards a back door exit without detection. I grab her wrist before she walks out of the door. The nondescript black sedan is waiting 10 feet away, and the door already open for her.
I know,
She says softly.
I don't know your face. I've never seen you before.
She guesses. I shake my head. Cherry, you're not going to a place where you'll ever be questioned about something like that. You and your family will be taken care of and safe, I promise. All I ask is that you do something meaningful with your life. That's all. A single tear slips from her eye. She hurriedly wipes it away and nods. Her brightened eyes shine with hope. And doing this shit, involving myself in the worst of humanity, it's all worth it when I have a survivor look at me like that. Not like I'm a hero, but like they can actually envision a future. She stumbles off to the car and I make my way back inside, making sure no one spots me. Jay, clear the cameras, I say before taking the earpiece out and slipping it back in the hidden pocket. The cameras will be spliced. If anyone reviews them, they'll see me dragging a dejected Cherry into a room and us walking out separately. It's one of my specialties that I mastered and then trained Jay in, taking parts of a camera feed and manipulating them to look exactly how you want them to, without even the best hackers being able to detect manipulation. I crack my neck and ready myself for a very long night of shooting the shit and becoming BFFs with a fucking pedophile.
July 4th, 1945. 4th of July is always one of my favorite holidays. I spend all day setting up for guests while John grills, and then we let off fireworks in our backyard over the cliff. It's always incredibly beautiful and my favorite part of the whole night. But right now, I'm in my room crying. John is drunk again, and he's been yelling at Sarah and I all day. Nothing is done right, and he even went as far as throwing a glass plate against the wall. I'm thankful our guests haven't arrived yet. Frank is on his way here, and I'm thankful for it. He's been a little distant since the dinner where John finally exploded. But I imagine he doesn't want to be involved in our marital disputes. Still, I'm glad he's coming. He'll be able to keep John busy while I entertain the rest of our family. I only pray John doesn't embarrass me tonight. I don't think I'll ever forgive him for it. Chapter 21. The Manipulator. I'm stewing. Nana used to make this god-awful stew when I was young. It smelled like a dumpster fire and tasted even worse. My attitude is about as foul as that stew right now. Ugh, I don't even know his name, I groan, my voice muffled by my hands. They've been glued to my face ever since Daya got here, and I confessed he broke in again. I haven't gotten around to what happened yet. There's not an ounce of courage in my bones. She's been patiently waiting, knowing that I'm holding something back. Something terrible and shameful. And something I can't stop fucking thinking about. You fucked him, didn't you? She asks calmly. My eyes bulge and I unglue my hands from my face so I can pin her with a glare. No, I did not fuck him, I snarl, as if she's suggesting something insane and I didn't come really damn close to it. I can feel the blood rising in my cheeks and my left eye twitches. Fuck, Daya knows that's my tell. You did! She bursts, standing up from her chair and looking down at me with shock. I didn't, I promise. I rush out, grabbing her hand. But something did happen. She puffs out a breath and settles back down in her chair, scooting back into the island in my kitchen and grabbing her margarita. She sucks down 2 huge gulps, trepidation on her face. You sucked his dick? She guesses, lifting a hand to fiddle with her nose ring. The images those words just put in my head have my blood pressure rising to dangerous levels. I bite my lip and shake my head slowly, the guilty look still present on my face. He sucked you? When I just stare, the guilt in my eyes burning brighter, her mouth pops open and her eyes round. Bitch, what the fuck? She shouts. She leans in closer, an unreadable emotion flaring in her eyes. Was it consensual? And this is where I get tripped up, because it wasn't. But had he kept going, had he stripped his clothes from his body and fucked me, I can't say with absolute certainty that I would have stopped him, or that I would have wanted to. Still, I shake my head no. Fury flares in her sage eyes, and her lips twist into a snarl. I lean back, honestly, a little afraid of her. I put my hand on hers. Daya, well, it wasn't consensual at first? I say the last part like a question, embarrassed that I'm even admitting something like that. She blinks. At first, she echoes. Meaning what? He was that good that he changed your mind? My hands cover my face, but she forces them away, nearly bumping her nose into mine as she intently waits for an answer. You have such pretty eyes, I tell her. She snarls at me. Spill, slut. I close my eyes with a resigned sigh. That man ate the soul out of my body, and I don't think I've gotten it back yet. She jerks back, surprise in her pale green irises. I know, you can judge me. I'm judging me too, I say pitifully. I slide her margarita over to me and finish it off. Mine's been gone since I first told her he broke in. Baby girl, I am not judging you, but let me get this straight. You egged him on in a text because you felt like a bad bitch. And then he broke in to make good on his promise, tied your ass up, and you freaked out at first, but then ended up writing his face? She summarizes slowly. Several emotions swirl in her eyes, confusion, shock, maybe even intrigue, but not judgment. And that's only because I didn't confess to her about the gun incident. I don't think I'll ever be able to talk about that one. I roll my lips. Pretty much. Without taking her eyes off me, she leans over and grabs the bottle of tequila we used to make the margaritas. She pours a shot into both of our empty cups and then hands one to me. We take the shot, cringing at the taste, and then stare at each other in silence. I'm just not even sure what to say. I groan. Ugh, Daya, I don't know what to do. He didn't hurt me, but he did. He definitely forced himself on me, but I would have let him go farther had he tried. I'm so fucking confused, and I feel dirty and wrong, but when it was happening, it felt... I trail off with another groan, and this time I just bang my head against the granite countertop. Really good? She fills in. Amazing. Out of this world. All of the above, I confess. I have never come so hard in my entire life. Damn, she breathes, a note of awe in her voice. Has he contacted you since then? She asks gently, running her fingers through my hair in a comforting gesture. I lift my head, a frown on my face. Yes, he said he didn't want me to fall in love with something fake. He pretty much said he's showing me who he really is, instead of lying to me about it. The fact that he thinks he can make me fall in love with him in the first place goes to show how deranged he is. That's oddly nice, but really fucked up. There's something wrong with him, but we knew that from the chopped off hands. I snort. Yeah, just a bit. Have you, asked him about that yet? I nod. Yeah, he basically played his usual macho man act and said not to worry about it and that he'd take care of it. I roll my eyes, but in all honesty, I'm glad for it. If I can count on my shadow for anything, it's to fuck someone up. He's made that more than clear. I sit up and bring Gigi's journal back towards me. Anywho, let's just focus on figuring out what happened to my great-grandmother. It's not hard to put Daya back into hacker mode. She slides her laptop towards her and immediately starts tapping away on the keyboard. The quickness of her fingers gives me a run for my money when I'm in a particularly good part in writing my book. She's been known to have to replace a few keys from how hard she types. So, time of death for Gigi was estimated about 5:05 p.m. Your great-grandfather claimed that he had run to the grocery store and when he came home, he found her dead in their bed. I found some witness reports claiming they did see John in Morty's grocery store around 5:35 p.m., but they didn't specify if they had seen him walking in or out of the store, or if they just saw him shopping during that time. I nod my head, twisting my lips in contemplation. In her last few journal entries, she was frantic and kept saying that he was coming for her. She never said who he is, but it has to be Ronaldo, right? So, maybe he waited until John left and snuck in and killed her while he was gone. He stalked her, after all. He'd know exactly when my great-grandfather would have left. Daya shrugs a shoulder, looking a little unconvinced. But don't the diary entries say that John was getting aggressive? And Gigi said she was going to divorce him, right? She questions. I frown. Well, yeah, but I don't think he would have killed her. He loved her too much. Couldn't the same be said for her stalker? Noting my expression, Daya sighs and rests her hand on mine. Addie, I love you, and I'm going to say this with all my love, but don't project. I'm starting to get the feeling that you want Ronaldo to be the killer because in your head, that will criminalize your stalker too. Please tell me that's not why you're seeking justice for Gigi, because you're looking for a reason to hate your stalker when in actuality you don't. I pull my hand from under hers and look away. Uncomfortable feelings invade my body, preventing me from speaking right away. I don't need to look for a reason to hate him, I grumble. Daya cocks a brow, unimpressed with my attitude. I sigh, a headache blooming right between my eyes. I rub at the spot, stalling as I try to figure out what I want to say. Because she's not entirely wrong. Maybe I just want to be able to say that all stalkers are crazy and that it's not possible to fall in love with one. I want to be able to say it's never happened before, and I want to say it's absolutely impossible to find myself in a loving, passionate, and healthy relationship with a person who invaded every aspect of my life, unapologetically. As much as I hate to say it, my shadow might not be wrong either. The man has a magnetism about him that rocks me to my core. He's shifted my entire life out of balance. He scares the fuck out of me, but just like watching a horror flick, it thrills me too. He was right when he said that if he had approached me in the bookstore and took me out like a normal man, I would have fallen for him. The way he carries himself, the way he speaks, and his passion are irresistible. And he's also right that if I had fallen in love with a lie, I would have been devastated. I just wish he wasn't such a bad guy. But then he'd be a different man, a man you might not be able to love. Doesn't matter. I refuse to love my shadow, and I'm not going to fuck him either. What happened 2 nights ago was sexual assault, and I'm not going to spin it any other way. That's not why I want justice for her, I say quietly. My hand drops and I meet Daya's soft gaze. Never one to judge me, even when I probably deserve it. I obviously never met Gigi, but Nana loved her to a million pieces, and I don't think she ever quite got over it. Not only do I want justice for Gigi, but for Nana, too. That seems to placate her. Good, because I did find a lead on one of Seattle's most notorious crime families in the 40s. I perk up, leaning over to look at the laptop screen. She turns it toward me for a better view. Back in the 40s, the Salvatore family ran the streets. Angelo Salvatore was the crime lord. She points towards a picture of 5 men. In the middle is what you would expect from an Italian mafia boss: deeply tanned skin, large bulbous hooked nose, and incredibly handsome, with his wide smile and sparkling brown eyes. Surrounding him are 4 men, their ages ranging from what looks to be 18 to late 20s. Based off the white hair peppered through Angelo's black hair, these must be his sons. They all look like him and are equally good-looking. 2 of them are wearing military fatigues, most likely having been drafted in World War II. Those are his 4 sons, Daya confirms. But they're irrelevant, sexy as they are. Look in the background behind them. Do you see him? She points to a grainy, slightly blurred image of a man looking off in the distance behind the Salvatore family. Most of his body is concealed, but what can be seen is a handsome face, part of a nice suit, and a top hat. This is the only picture I could find, but I think there's a possibility that's Ronaldo. My nose is nearly smushed into the screen. I'm staring so hard. It's a reach. Any man could be in a suit and a top hat in the 40s, but something is different about him. You see what I see? Daya questions, excitement in her tone. He has a black eye and his lip looks busted. I trail off when I note Angelo's right hand gripping a glass of alcohol. Angelo's hand is busted too. I look to Daya, and it's like looking into a mirror. I know the excitement burning on her face reflects my own. And guess the date on the picture? She says, smiling wider. My eyes round. Oh, bitch, just tell me. September 22nd, 1944. 4 days after that entry from Gigi saying Ronaldo came in beat up. My mouth pops open, and I look back at the picture, staring at the man that could have possibly been Gigi's stalker and her murderer. I'm drunk. I ended up drinking 2 more margaritas, and Daya had the bright idea to take more tequila shots. My world spins as I stumble up the stairs, a giggling Daya on my heels. We're both on all 4s, our hands planted on the dirty wooden floors so we don't fall. Bitch, why did you make me drink this much? I ask, giggling harder when I almost topple sideways. I felt it was appropriate while we were investigating a murder. She stutters, her voice wobbly and filled with giggles. I snort in response, my vision still playing tilt-a-whirl with my head. I walk her to the guest bedroom and help her get to bed. I'm not much help, considering I nearly send us both crashing to the ground a time or two when I try to help her get her jeans off. How are you going to get yours off? She asks, staring at my jeans. I wave a hand. I'm sure the stalker will help me, I retort. She widens her eyes comically. If he puts his peen in you, record it. I want to watch it later. Right now, the prospect of fucking my stalker seems hilarious. We'll both regret it later, I'm sure, if we even remember. We giggle like schoolgirls, her laughter following me out of the room. I lean heavily against the wall as I stumble my way to the bedroom. I don't even bother trying to take my jeans off. I just plop on the bed, on top of the covers and everything, and I'm out seconds later. A brush of skin across my cheek wakes me. I groan, My world's still spinning as I open my crusted eyes and see my shadow standing by my bed, brushing the hair from my face. "Oh, great," I grumble. "You're here."
Little mouse, are you drunk?
Way to ask the obvious, I mumble, slurping up some drool that's leaking out of my mouth. I'm still too drunk to be embarrassed. Shakily, I sit up and stare around the room. The lights are still on. I guess I forgot to turn them off, and it feels wrong to see my stalker in anything but the darkness. It makes him more real, and I don't like it. "Turn the light off," I demand, refusing to meet his eyes. I much prefer when I can only see shadows of his face. He turns and does what I say. I'm so surprised that he listened that I almost snap out another demand when the light clicks off just to see what he'll do. He's once again hidden in the shadows. When he walks through the room, it's like the darkness clings to him. He is darkness. I can't figure out what scares me more, him in the dark or him in the light. I need to take my jeans off. I suppose you're going to watch me, aren't you? The alcohol is making me feel bold right now. I'm not thinking about consequences or his threats. Even the fear I feel swirling around is muted. Right now, I feel like I can say or do anything. Like being drunk somehow gives me a protective armor, when in reality it just makes me more vulnerable. He leans against my door, his arms crossed as he watches me unbutton my jeans and slide them down my thighs. "You know," I start, stumbling as I try to get the pant leg around my foot. "Who the fuck invented skinny jeans, and why am I wearing them? I don't even know your name,"
You never asked.
is his reply. "I'm asking now, kitty cat." Finally, I get my foot through the hole and slide my leg out. I straighten and look at my freed leg in victory. One down, one to go. "You know," I say again, before he can even open his mouth. "I do quite like calling you kitty cat,"
But it wouldn't sound so good when you're screaming it.
he taunts, his voice a little closer than it was before. I look up to see he's stepped away from the door, his form creeping through the darkness. I snort. "You don't think so? I bet I could make it sound good," I challenge. It looks like his entire body turns to stone, and that makes me feel even bolder. I slide the other pant leg off, this one going a little smoother than the other. And then I climb up on the bed in nothing but a bra and t-shirt and my purple thong. He gets a good view of my ass, but that's the least of my concerns. I grab a pillow and straddle it.
Addie.
He growls his warning. The deep rumble has dampness gathering between my thighs. It's unfair how his voice has a physical effect on my body, but I guess right now it works for me. I grind on the pillow, tip my head back, and moan out, "Oh, kitty cat." I squeak when I see his hand flying towards my face from my peripheral. The alcohol has sucked away all my reflexes, so when his hand grabs my hair roughly, I can do nothing to stop it. My back arches as he yanks my head back. His beautifully scarred face appears above mine. Those goddamn yin-yang eyes with thick lashes framing them. He's terrifyingly beautiful, and right now he looks pissed. "What?" I breathe out innocently. He leans down and softly brushes his lips against mine. Electric shocks ignite from where our lips touch. I suck in a sharp gasp, appalled by the reaction his body creates within my own.
Zaid.
He whispers against my lips.
That's the only name that will ever leave your lips from now on, especially when you're making that little pussy feel good. And when I'm making that pussy feel good, then you can call me God.
All the oxygen in my lungs evaporates. If he had given my soul back, it would be gone again. "I think Lucifer would suit you better," I whisper, my lips sliding against him as I speak. A sinful smile flashes across his mouth, baring his straight teeth for a brief second. The 1 second was a stark reminder in my drunk-addled brain that I have someone very dangerous in my face right now, and I need to get him away from me. I arch further back, pulling my face away from his. "You gonna assault me again?" Is it going to be you forcing your dick in my mouth this time? I spit at him, narrowing my eyes in thin, hateful slits.
I thought about it.
He admits in a contemplative murmur.
I would love to see you swallow my cock tonight.
There's a but, and in my drunken state, I'm almost offended. I quirk a brow, but even I know it doesn't have the same effect as him doing it.
But you're still inebriated, and you'd vomit all over my cock the second it touched the back of your throat.
Okay, now I'm really offended. My mouth pops open in shock. I would not, you asshole! I squirm away from him, but he reinforces his hold in my hair and keeps me still. Always fucking forcing me. Who could love this man? He laughs, a dark, cruel laugh, but it also transforms his face right into the devil's, handsome and ruthless.
Are you saying you want to try?
He taunts, his eyes glittering in the moonlight. I scowl at him. Never. You know what? You're right. I would vomit, but not because I can't handle your puny dick, but because I would be so disgusted by it. The venomous words spew from my mouth without preservation. My fear is muted, so my mouth is uncensored. He arches a brow and my mouth dries. Fuck. Why does it look so scary when he does that? He stares at me and I hold my breath, waiting for him to snap. To murder me. Hurt me. Do something. When his free hand reaches to his zipper and slowly pulls it down, I know I fucked up. Oh, you just couldn't keep your mouth shut, could you, Addie? I stare at his hand movements like he's about to open up a jar of spiders. He pops the button on his jeans and then stills for a beat. A gasp bursts from my throat as he wrenches my head roughly to his pelvis right as he pulls out his cock. Fuck. Fine. Okay. So, maybe his dick is the exact opposite of puny and would surely kill me if he did decide to choke me on it. And maybe it wouldn't be the worst way to die when it's the most mouth-watering thing I've ever seen. It's otherworldly. He holds his cock in his hand, and my pussy weeps in response. I'll never tell him how glorious he looks because right now, I want to fucking chop it off. Just like he did Arch's hands. He wouldn't be a man without his cock, and I wouldn't have to worry about him using it as a weapon and crushing my windpipe. He yanks my head closer until it's inches from my face. Musk and the scent of leather and spices waft to my nose. Of course he smells as tempting as he looks.
You think you can handle this?
He asks darkly. I swallow, desperate to lubricate the dryness in my throat. The false bravado is steadily slipping away, and now the fear is coming back full force. Yep, I say, my voice wobbly. But I will bite it off if you try it. I'm too busy staring at his cock to notice the smirk glide on his face. The tip caresses my jaw, the soft skin sliding against me, sending shivers down my spine. I stare at him in disgust, but my face is a mask of lies, and the fucker knows it. He starts to pump his cock, gripping it tightly, the veins bulging beneath his grip. Even swallowed in his large hand, it looks intimidating. What are you doing? I snap. He slaps the head of his dick on my cheek in response, silencing me with a sharp gasp. The asshole. He continues to pump his cock, and when I realize that he's jacking off on my face, I start to struggle. His hand tightens painfully, needle-like pricks of pain blooming along my scalp. Let me go, I hiss, pushing both of my hands against his thick thighs. He lets go of his dick and darts his hand up to my face, squishing my cheeks painfully together. My teeth bite into the sensitive flesh, but he doesn't let up. Tears line the edges of my lids, threatening to spill over as he leans down and bares his teeth in a vicious snarl. That fear holds me completely immobile. Finally, I feel the terror penetrate my thick skull, because this man could easily kill me. My bravery is sucked out of me like a vacuum, and I melt into a puddle of fear and hatred.
You want to act brave, then I'm going to show you exactly what happens to smart mouths. You're going to swallow my cum like the fucking bad girl you are, and I don't give a fuck if you don't like it.
He roughly lets my face go, and the hand still tangled in my hair yanks me back to its previous position. I glare up at him through blurred eyes, but if anything, the sight only spurs him on. He pumps his cock in quick, rough tugs. It doesn't take long before he's growling again, the veins in his neck tightening.
What's my name?
He growls. Kid. He briefly lets go of his dick to deliver a sharp slap to my cheek. It stings, but it wasn't enough to actually hurt me. I snarl. Zaid. He sucks in a sharp breath.
Open your mouth, little mouse. Now.
When I refuse, he slaps his dick across my face again, this time harder. I'm getting tired of him slapping me. Rage burns hotter, and I'm tempted to reach over and bite the tip of his dick until it's severed completely.
You really want to test me right now?
He challenges, cocking that damn brow and breathing heavily. Desire shines in his yin-yang pools, and although he's punishing me, he's staring down at me like I'm a priceless jewel. With reluctance, I open my mouth, hatred spewing from my eyes. He flashes a sinister smile before he says,
Now, thank me.
I go rigid, fury spiking hot. He wants me to do what?
Fucking thank me for letting you swallow all my cum, Adeline.
A dark edge creeps into his tone, and I just can't let go of the fear, even as I work up the nerve to deny him. Images of him holding a gun to my face and pinning my tied-up body to the bed as he took what he wanted flash through my mind, fortifying the terror in my bones. Thank you. I choke out angrily. As soon as I say the words, ropes of cum are spurting from his dick and right into my mouth. A deep rumbling growl releases from his throat, traveling straight to my core. I clench my thighs as my taste buds are invaded with the flavor of his saltiness. Desperately, I want to spit it out right in his face.
Fuck. That's a good girl.
He breathes. In response, a tear slips from my eye. I shiver from the words, just as my hatred for him burns brighter. When the last bit of cum drops from his tip and onto my lips, he grabs my face again, pinching my cheeks together and preventing me from spitting it all back on him like I planned to.
Swallow,
he demands, his voice dark and full of warning. I do because I have no other choice. His seed slides down my throat, alongside a mouthful of hateful words I want to spit at him. I refrain for now. The situation has cleared the alcohol-induced fog, and at the moment, I feel stone-cold sober. He tucks himself back into his jeans and stares at me as if he can't tell if he wants to eat me or hurt me.
Your pussy is wet for me, isn't it?
Fuck you. I snap back, my tone uneven and filled with unshed tears, so much for refraining.
Let me see, little mouse.
My brow plunges, and I stare at him in confusion.
Stick your hand in your underwear. Dip one of those fingers into your pussy and show it to me.
I open my mouth to tell him to fuck off, but he squeezes my cheeks again. Another tear slips free.
Did you not just learn your lesson about having a smart mouth?
My fists curl, bleaching my knuckles white from the force. And to think this man believes I'll fall in love with him, I want to laugh in his fucking face. No, I want to add my own scars to his face. Cut it up until he's nothing but ugliness, just like he is on the inside. Again, I do as he says. I slide my thong to the side, plunge my middle finger in deep, and present him with the only fuck you I can give, my arousal glistening on the digit. He smirks at my dig, not the least bit bothered. Embarrassment clouds my vision, but I don't let him see it. He's getting nothing but poison from me. He grabs my hand and brings my finger to his mouth. I resist his hold, but I'm powerless against him. His warm, wet mouth wraps around my finger and sucks off my juices in one swirl of his tongue. I hiss through my teeth, those electric waves shooting from where he licks me and throughout my body. His eyes roll backwards, acting as if he's sucking on the best lollipop he's ever had. I can't control how my stomach tightens and thighs clench in response. I'm drenched and embarrassed. He pops my finger from his mouth, and it takes massive strength not to send my fist into his dick. He finally releases my hair from his grip, and I scramble away from him. Zipping up his jeans, he looks down at me. I can only see a sliver of his face from the moonlight. But what I do see makes me feel murderous. He's not looking down at me smugly like I had expected. His face is arranged into a blank mask, as if what just happened didn't affect him at all. And that is so much worse.
You want to know the best part?
He asks quietly.
I was going to tuck you into bed and leave you alone tonight. But you seem to forget that just because I am wholly yours, little mouse, I am not a nice man.
September 27th, 1945. The world has seemed to relax now that World War II is over. Soldiers are coming home, and though many have fallen or have been injured, I think we're all thankful it's over. But the war has not ended in Parsons Manor. Ronaldo is taking me out today while John is at work and Sarah is at school. It'll be nice to get out of the house and get some fresh air before the weather starts to chill. He's taking me on a lovely picnic and then out to a movie. With John's growing aggressiveness, I'm not sure how to tell Ronaldo. I've only been able to see him about twice a month lately. He said his job is demanding. And I haven't confessed to him about John and our demise. I'm sure he'll be glad to hear that we might be heading towards a divorce. But I fear what he'll do when I confess just how angry John is. I pray he keeps his temper. Ronaldo has a short fuse. Maybe even shorter than John's.